Hello, this is Kippi from KippiAtHome.com. Welcome to my home. Welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. We're going to be crafting up these cute little twine pumpkins, and they're going to be so adorable on your Thanksgiving table and all your fall decor. So let's get crafting. This craft is so easy to do. You can just use things you probably already have on hand. We're going to be making 3 different kinds of twill pumpkins, and the supply list will be in the description below, so please check it out for more information. Pull off 4 pieces of painter's tape. However, you can use masking tape. So just pull them off and put them down on your table or craft mat or whatever you have, and we'll get started. All right, we're going to tape our first piece down on that paper towel tube, and we are going to use about maybe 18 inches, but long enough that you have a tail at both ends of your paper towel tube, and you tape down both ends, and then we're going to start wrapping our twine. The twine end that is the cut end, you're going to actually tape that to about 3/4 down on the tube, because it will unravel, and that would be a mess that you don't want to have to deal with. So we're just going to tape it down, and then we're going to start wrapping it around. I found that wrapping it like too far apart, you'd have to keep trying to make it neat. But so if you do it in a little closer, as you can see, I have to keep adjusting it. You can actually do better. And that tail that's swinging around from the other end, well, eventually I figured out that it was easier to put it inside the tube. So that's an easy way to keep it from getting in the way. I'm going to keep wrapping it all the way to the end, and once I get it all the way finished, I'm going to cut that piece of twine off from the roll, and I'm going to tape the end back over the wraps I already made. Next, I'm going to carefully remove all those loops and making sure that they don't unravel, and that's why I put the little tape there. So you'll just have to manage that and just work slowly and carefully. Take your time and make sure you keep those loops together so they don't start unraveling. I kind of use my thumb, and once you get off a good chunk of it off, it kind of stays together. So those cut ends that we did for the wrapped twine, you want to make sure you keep that tape on top. And once you get a little closer, you can kind of tie them together. You'll see in a minute. I'm first tying together the ends of the cut piece that I actually taped down on the tube, and I'm just giving a loose tie on it, and this is just to kind of keep it all together. It makes it a little bit easier, and you can see that one end is still taped down. I got to kind of pull it off of there, so it's just kind of hold everything together, and you can tie it off. And the first tie that you really want to be comfortable about, and then you can go in and do a second or a third. Sometimes I wrap it back through the entire thing to make sure it stays secure, and then because what you're going to do is you're going to have to distribute the twine pieces of a wrapped twine pieces. So just trim off those inside things and remove the tape, and then do your outside. Those are your ends from the wrapped, not the secure ties, but I'm just going to tie them together, because if not, the entire thing could unravel. And then cut it, trim it, and you're ready to start fluffing it. So however you fluff it can be changed like as much as you want, but once you secure that, or if you hot glue your stem in, then you don't have as much opportunity to fluff it around anymore. But distribute however you like it, so it doesn't have to be perfect. It's a rustic pumpkin, a no rot pumpkin that you can use year after year. So I'm just going to put some hot glue there, and I'm going to use a stem it was a stick on a tree in my yard from a branch, so it'll be just real cute. And you can add whatever decoration you want to it. You can do some leaves or raffia, or you can add some little tendrils that you make it anything you want it to be. I decided to make a little cotton lace bow. It just seemed like it went together, the little warm colors and kind of rustic, and just thought it would be pretty. My next twine pumpkin is going to be the smallest one I make, and I'm going to use a ruler, and this is a Fisker's ruler, but I'm sure you probably have one similar to it at home. If you have that little channel in the middle, that's great, because you can just put the twine right in the middle of it and then tape it on there pretty good. And the same thing, we're going to use the 4 pieces of tape to hold it, and this one, because it's so easy to pull out the other end, I just kind of bent the long end back over it in the back, and then I pulled it out at the end. And I'm talking about the tie thread. The tie thread is the one that's on there first. Now this is the looping thread, so I'm going to put that down just to hold it, because that'll start unwrapping while I'm wrapping if I don't glue it down or tape it or do something with it. So I'm just going to wrap it around. See, I'm going to hold it in the back, because that'll just keep flapping around, and just loop it and loop it and loop it until it's what I want it, to it's good and full. Once you have all your loops made, you're going to cut your twine and tape it down, and then gently untape the other end of your loop thread, and you are going to tie them together and then tape them back down. So just pull out your tie thread at both ends, and you can actually give it a loose tie before you even get going, before you start removing it. It's a little small to put it all on my thumb. Those loops are so small, but I'm going to tie them together before I even get going. And I tied the cut ends that are part of the looping thread. I already tied those together, so I'm going to tie these just a loose tie, and let's see if we can get it off all in one piece easily. Oh, that came off so easy. This one's so easy to make. So I'm just going to tie off that tie thread, and then I'm going to tie off my loop thread. Once you have your twine thread knots made, you just trim right down to the knot and start your fluffing process. I'm going to just try to do a little distribution on the fullness. It's just a little tiny pumpkin, and it's going to be perfect for my little fall table. I'm adding little sticks out of my yard that I cut off, and these little cuties are going to be on my Thanksgiving table. I think I'll put it in each place setting. This is the 3rd twine pumpkin, and this is the largest one. This one will be kind of the centerpiece, and then I'll put the smaller various smaller sizes around it. This one we're going to start out, we're going to actually use a piece of wire to secure everything together. So I'm going to cut my wire pieces first, and I'm going to make them at least 12 inches long. And you might even add a wee bit more for just for security, but 12 inches will do the trick. Next, repeat this process 4 more times for a total of 5 wires cut at a length of 12 inches each. Once you have your 5 pieces of wire cut, you're ready to start. I'm just going to wrap, this time I'm going to wrap the twine around my hand, and I'm going to try to just keep my fingers together and not loose, not tight, just kind of just regular. And I'm going to wrap it around at least 13 times, and then I'm going to use it, and I'm going to make sure that those 2 ends are, I'm going to put the wire between them. I like to fold the wire in half to find the center. Not necessary, but maybe it makes it a little bit easier when you're working with just 2 hands. So I'm going to put it between those 2 cut threads or twine pieces, and then I'm going to secure it around there a couple of times, and then I'm going to twist until I feel like it's good and tight, and then I'm going to set it aside, and then I'll repeat the process for each section. All right, now that I have my sections ready, I've got my glue gun heating up, I'll be ready to assemble my little pumpkin. Next, we're going to trim all of those wires. I'm using my favorite wire cutter, and I'll put that in the description. These are the best. If you're a crafter, these are a must-have. You can put them on the list there and ask Santa for them. You will not be sorry. So I'm going to get all those, and then I'm going to push the little ends down because this is a lighter weight wire. It's not going to hurt your hand, but we're going to push it in anyway. A glue in the center, and I'm going to start assembling my little pumpkin sections. So these are these little sections in the pumpkin, and so we're just going to hold them together, and they have to be pretty dry before you start moving anything around because they will come apart. So, but once it's dry, it's pretty secure. So just one after another, hold them until they're set up. To cover up the middle, in the middle, I'm going to use a piece of twine, and I'm just going to tie it off real good so that all my little sections will stay together. And then I'm going to make a few wraps and hot glue that over all the little pieces of wire because I don't want that shining through the middle of my pumpkin. And then just hot glue down both ends neatly and trim it if it needs to be trimmed. Next, I'm going to fluff all my sections out, and then I'm going to add my stem, and once again I'm using a stick from that same tree in my yard for my pumpkin. Since this pumpkin will be displayed with the other pumpkins that have the cotton lace on it, I decided I would just put it on there, but instead of making a bow, I'd put a little tie on it. This pumpkin is a wee bit bigger than the other ones, so I thought it would, make it a little different, but still coordinate. Aren't they gonna be cute? Here are finished pumpkins, and one was done with my hand. That's the one with my hand. The one in the small one in the middle, of course, was done with the ruler, and the one to the right was done with the paper towel tube. So they all come out super cute, and I'm sure they're gonna look beautiful this fall and Thanksgiving. These little twine pumpkins turned out cute as a pumpkin. I hope you'll subscribe, ring the bell, and check out the blog post for more. All that information is in the description below, and I hope you'll have a beautiful day and a wonderful fall. See you next time.